Phil and Rye, listen up. Ryan, yes, we're back. We did not forget after that long storied break, right? I hope Santa visited your house. I know you told me that you woke up Sunday morning to some crumbs laying all over the floor that you had to clean up. So that was good news. I know he came to visit you. Now let's get into the conversation that really matters. We're back from Christmas break and we still have one more so-called break we have to enjoy, and that's New Year's before we ring in 2023. And boy, oh my, that means March Madness. Boy, oh my, March Madness gets closer and closer, huh? When you see that ball drop in New York, you know it's coming now. The Creighton Blue Jays, though, let's focus on what's most important today, and that's the Creighton Blue Jays. Ryan, they're ranked number 21. You told me before we came on, yeah, Phil, I knew they would be pretty darn good. UConn has to come with their A game, like always, and they usually do. Ryan, another conference game. What do you like in this matchup? And, I'm not going to negative Phil all the time, huh? But I have to say it, Ryan. I mean, there has to be, especially with this season. I mean, obviously, nothing can go perfect with any team. Let's just put it out there that way. There's always some roadblocks in the road, but especially with this UConn team this year, there's a lot, in my opinion. I don't know about yours. There's a lot of roadblocks with this UConn Huskies team. So, with that said, what do you like about this matchup, and what don't you like as we head in to the last check-in right now, 3:30 on this Tuesday afternoon? A little bit late, but better than never. I know you told me that we like to come on as late as possible for last check-ins because, hey, they like to bring out the news, the updated news, very late as well.
Well, we certainly wouldn't want to miss any injury updates or anything like that before the game starts, but still no news on AZ Fudd. I would assume she's not going to play tomorrow. Only UConn Husky at the moment that's not available, that's not out for the season, so that's some more good news. But yeah, before I start, hope everybody had a good Christmas with their friends and family. But we're back. We're ready to come back for this highly anticipated Big East matchup,
Yeah,
I
you
would
said
say.
it.
But on the AP poll, a little update for this week. UConn moved up one spot to number 8. Creighton stays at 21. St. John's, undefeated St. John's, ranked for the first time at 25. They had a big win versus
Ooh.
Creighton earlier a couple weeks ago, I believe. But Creighton Blue Jays have lost 3 out of the last 4 games, have an 8-3 record. 2 of those games were to ranked opponents, Arkansas and Stanford. And I was saying, like you said, I mentioned it during the offseason. I knew Creighton would be a team to look out for in the Big East. They definitely will be the best team UConn has played thus far in the Big East. Creighton is coached by Jim Flannery, 21st year coaching the team. Under Flannery, Creighton has won 4 conference titles, one of them being the Big East title in 2017. They've also been to 5 NCAA tournaments, including the Elite 8 appearance last year. They went on a pretty special run, had a couple upsets there. This team, led by star guards Lauren Jensen and Morgan Malley, they're joined by 5th-year senior guard Rachel Saunders and guard Molly Majensen. And rounding out the starting 5 is the very talented forward Emma Ronsick. I believe I'm saying her last name right, but very talented forward. She had an amazing year last year and led this team. And one of the big reasons why this team made it to the Elite 8. A pretty talented bench as well. They used their bench quite a lot during games, coming off the bench for the Blue Jays. Team leader in blocks, forward Mallory Brake, along with 4 guards, Carly Batchelor, Jamie Horan, Kennedy Townsend, and Kiana Lockett. So, like I said, Creighton is a very talented team that have a head coach with a lot of experience. And I don't think they're going to be an easy team to beat, but I think UConn will be up for the challenge. UConn has had a week off, but Creighton has actually had 8 days off. So this game, of course, is an away game. It's in Creighton and Omaha, Nebraska, but I think UConn's going to take care of business. I think it's kind of the same story we've said with these past couple of games with limiting turnovers. We know the defense is going to be there for UConn, but I think that's the biggest thing to focus on right now is limiting the turnovers. And rather than that, I mean, the shooting has been pretty good. The defense has been stepping up. But the offense can certainly get a lot better by limiting those turnovers.
Yeah, and let's just say that going back to the head coach for Creighton, just a couple things to touch on. Jim Flannery, that was right, Jim Flannery.
Yeah.
Ryan, he's been in there. This is, I think, his 21st year. All right, so talk about, we always talk about experience with head coaches because of Gino's time in UConn. Um, let's just say Jim Flannery knows what's going on, huh? He knows he knows what's going on. And I really I can understand why why a lot of our viewers, they don't it's hard. It's hard. I get it. It's tough to admit it because you've been dominant for so long if you're a UConn Huskies fan. But at the same time, this conference, and I'm not going back on my word because I know I told you a couple weeks ago UConn would definitely keep on dominating in this conference. I believe that. But man, when you look at this roster for Creighton, Ryan, they have literally two seniors. One is a graduate student, and that's Rachel Saunders, and then senior Carly Bachelor. So again,
Yeah.
a very young team. And that's not only speaking on behalf of their rank in the country. That's, to me, not only previewing this game like we're supposed to be doing, but I always love to look at the future. Man, I mean, the sky's the limit. I mean, especially if you're doing things like this, right? Things like this when you're a very young ball team. Now we talk about injuries, especially in UConn. That's one word we don't want to hear anymore, and I get it. But again, you talk about the conference, basically the Big East heating up. Oh man, I mean, now I can see if a lot of seniors are just leaving, gone, but there's a lot of players that keep coming back for more in this Big East.
Yeah, and Creighton is a team with a lot of juniors as well, so they're going to have, like you mentioned, a lot of returning players for next year as well. And this whole team this year is all returning players. So, Jim Flannery and this team, they've been together for a very long time. Like I said, a lot of returning players. So, I think it's going to be a pretty big challenge for UConn, but I think it's going to be a pretty close game, but I don't want to spoil my prediction yet. But yeah, I mean, I think that I think with a lot of these games, we've seen a trend with the matchup being down low between Aaliyah Edwards, Dorka Juhas, those
Mhm.
players for UConn, and in this game as well. The big forward for Creighton, Emma Ronsick for Creighton.
Mhm.
But I think with the rebounds, the battle down low is always a big thing to watch out for. And the guard play for UConn, we expect that to be there. Of course, without AZ Flood, but they still have Lou Lopez as well. Of course, Nika Mule with her passing ability is always going to be there. Aubrey Griffin has been playing great as well. So, like I said, I think UConn's going to be up for the challenge, but Creighton is definitely not a team to sleep on.
All right, let's go ahead and get into some comments, Ryan, as we will give our prediction at the final minute of this episode. This is from UConn Huskies demolish Seton Hall, and that was the video right before Christmas break. Let's go to David Serrano. Haven't heard from him for a while. Thanks for coming through, David. Great show again, guys. Like the way your analysis comes shortly after each game. Scouting reports said guard Lou and leave Nika said guard Lou and leave Nika outside the arc. Boy, did the Pirates get that wrong. Nika took more shots today. She should keep that up. This team today looked like a potentially unstoppable team if they clamp on the turnovers.
Yeah, I completely agree with everything you just said. And I've been saying that all along, all season long. I love Nika Mule. I love her style of game. But when she is shooting from outside the arc, mid-range game, driving the ball, all three of those things. But when she's shooting those 3-point shots and hitting them, it just brings her game to somehow a higher level than what it already is. When you factor in her defense and passing abilities, it's pretty fun to watch when Nika is hitting shots on offense. But yeah, I mean they Seton Hall definitely guarded Lou and tried to stop her from shooting threes, but they left Nika and she just kept hitting shot after shot from outside. So that was really fun to watch. But I agree. That offense for UConn that we saw against Seton Hall, like we saw against Providence. It looks like a winning formula to go really far. But like they just said, limiting the turnovers is a big step. I think they've improved that, just taking baby steps to slightly improving that. And the defense is looking pretty good as well.
Groovy Faye getting groovy for March Madness. If UConn doesn't fix their turnover problem when they play great teams like South Carolina, Stanford, etc., they're going to, South Carolina, Stanford, etc. Going, oh, okay, them teams are going to blow them out of the, and then that's it. He stops. Well, I guess let's just go ahead and finish the sentence for him then. How about I guess he wants it to be a mystery, huh? He wants it to be a mystery. Where will the season end? How about that?
Yeah, well, they could get blown out in the regular season, the Big East tournament, or unfortunately March Madness. But I would agree with that. I mean, especially going towards March, if UConn isn't limiting their turnovers, it can be a big problem. But I have faith. I think they'll eventually fix it. And like I said, it's been getting better. Just little by little, game to game. But I think the good thing about UConn is their defense makes up for their lack of offense sometimes. And this team has a lot of very talented shooters. Getting Dorka back, her post game is really good. Leah Edwards, just elevating her post game to
Yeah.
a very, very high level has helped the UConn offense tremendously. Bringing in Lou, and when Nika's hitting those outside shots, Aubrey's been playing great on offense as well. So yeah, I mean, limiting the turnovers would go a long way, but the UConn offense is really firing on all cylinders as of late.
And Ryan, don't forget, make sure you tell everyone because nobody wants to believe me, Ryan. Hey, make sure you guys still come through. No, even if it's not a national championship, no problem this season. Make sure you still come through. Okay. Subscribe to the channel, view the videos. It's not for Ryan and I, it's for the support of women's basketball. So no championship, no problem. Still come through. Marcia Clark, Nika needs an NIL deal with Nike. It has a good ring to it. She has been super impressive this season. And Edwards, again, super solid. I love the way she's demanding the ball and making plays. Everyone else helped out too. Too many turnovers, but if they clean those up, it could look real good in the new year. I hope this team gets some much needed time off to rest, recover, and reel in those turnovers for future games. Let's go Huskies.
Well, they had another week off this week to rest up, heal up, and kind of fix some problems there. But I agree with the Leah Edwards. That was a big thing that Gino and kind of the announcers and kind of the coaches for UConn, everybody has been saying it this season about Aaliyah Edwards demanding the ball more on offense. And I think that's really something that they worked on during the all season with Aaliyah Edwards, is demanding the ball a lot more on offense, wanting the ball, getting it into the post, and being more aggressive. And it's really worked out for us so far this season. That's for sure for UConn. But yeah, I mean, I agree with Nika as well. That would be really, really great to see if she got a deal with Nike. The NIL deals becoming a more and more popular thing. I know AZ Fudd and Paige Beckers have some, but it would be really exciting if more UConn Huskies got some NIL deals for sure.
Yeah, again, it's not only, I want to remind you, Ryan, time for one more. It's not only me making criticism sometimes toward the team or a specific player, even though I try my best to point all the positives out. But sometimes, hey, I mean, we went over that before. We're not going to come on the podcast and say, Ryan, it was a beautiful day after a blowout loss. Okay. It's just not going to happen. Captain, because it's very interesting. Captain goes 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. Then Nika shoots. I pray it goes in every time because after first 2 misses, you will not see any shots from her for the rest of the game. That's interesting.
Yeah, it is. And I think, the way I think everybody's game is different, but I think for Nika Mule, she's never, all three of her seasons here, she's never really been a guard that shoots a lot during the game, and that's just her style of play. But
And
like we
that's
saw,
fine. That's okay because, like you told me, she's
yeah.
able to give the ball up a lot to her other teammates. She's not greedy.
Yeah, and I mean
Yeah.
it's fine when you play lockdown defense like Nika
Hmm.
Mule can every single night and pass for or get 10 or more assists in every single game this season like she's done so far.
Right.
Averaging 10 assists per night is really something special that you don't really see even in the WNBA out of anybody. So
Hmm.
but for Nika, I mean, for her making shots, it doesn't have to necessarily be a part of her game. And if it's not, that's fine because she, finds other ways to make an impact for UConn every single game. But it definitely elevates the UConn offense and makes the team a whole lot more dangerous if she's out there making shots, passing the ball, and playing defense like she already can.
Okay, predictions. Here we go. Ryan, tomorrow at 8:30, it's Connecticut and Creighton. Let's go 90-72. 90-72, UConn defeats Creighton. I think Connecticut really cuts back on the turnovers because, in my opinion, especially in conference play, I'm not saying it's easier. I'm not saying it's no easy task in the Big East, but in conference play, okay, in conference play, I think that you really see the turnover start to decline. UConn's always been a team to beat, obviously, in this conference. And I think they really start to heat up down the stretch in this conference. Out of the conference, obviously, we all know it's a question, Ryan. Tell me if I'm wrong. Okay. I'm sitting here right now. Tell me if I'm wrong. But I think that you will really see UConn start to heat up and go on a stretch. Go on a stretch because I told you in the last episode, I have UConn winning a lot of these ball games. Okay. We won't get into that discussion right now, but yeah, 90-72, Connecticut over Creighton. You know what? Aaliyah Edwards, man. Aaliyah Edwards, your MVP.
Yeah, and I think for me, this is a big game for UConn to just kind of quiet all of the noise and just surrounding the Big East getting better. And is
Mm,
UConn going to fall off their podium at the top of the Big East? So
mm,
I think this is a big not get right game for UConn, but just a big game overall for UConn to prove that they're still on top of the Big East. They're here to stay for a while and be the reigning champs of the Big East for many years to come. I'm going to go 92-75, 92-75 UConn in this game. I agree with you. I think they're going to limit their turnovers a little bit
mm.
in this game as well. Just keep getting better and better as the season moves on, and that's the goal. Just get better every single game. MVP. I always struggle with this MVP pick because I don't want to keep picking the same player every night. I'm going to go Leah Edwards as well. She's been great all season. I think she shows out getting rebounds. I think she dominates the paint. I'm going to go Leah Edwards.
All right, Ryan, we will see your smiling face right back here tomorrow night to recap the game. You flying solo by yourself, just the way we like it on Listen Up. Subscribe, like, and comment. Ryan, we will all look forward to seeing you on air tomorrow night.